Up first, a story not to be missed.
When we think of safety hazards in our homes, it's generally the usual suspects, right? Sharp objects we leave around, the stairs that our toddler could tumble down. But what about those invisible threats that could be poisoning us, and we don't even realize it? Joining us to talk about the dangers of lead poisoning and other toxins we may be living with are Grant Riley and Victoria Ersoff from the law firm of Riley Ersoff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here. So much to get to. Grant, I wanted to first talk about your law firm. I was reading here that you handle different types of toxic substances that people have been exposed to. You don't hear a lot about this, so tell me a little bit more.
Well, we are a law firm in Los Angeles, and what we focus on, what Vic and I have been doing for a long time as lawyers, is representing families and children that are exposed to toxic chemicals, lead poisoning, carbon monoxide poisoning, other dangers from substandard and slum housing. And that typically happens with older homes where the owner-landlords fail to make repairs.
Look at that. Victoria?
What people don't realize is virtually all apartments and homes that were built before 1978 contain lead-based paint.
And people are unaware of that.
Right.
And who's going to walk in as a renter, look around and look at the walls? Nobody's going to know, right?
Tenants, only thing a tenant wants to they care about is how much is the rent, when's the rent paid.
Right.
But what they don't know is that in older homes, lead paint can deteriorate, can distribute lead dust around. And you know how children put everything in their mouths, toys, their hands, pacifiers, you name it. If there's even microscopic amounts, unseeable amounts of lead dust on those toys or the pacifier, a child can have lead enter their brain and they have permanent neurological harm.
I was going to ask you that, Victoria. What are the long-term effects? And I'm actually scared to ask.
The effects are devastating. Lead-based paint is more dangerous to children than adults. In fact, once lead enters the body, it's stored in the brains, the bones, and the tissue for up to 20 years. And that's because children process lead differently than adults.
So what can, I guess, parents do? How preventable can this be? Any options?
Well, what's amazing and what everyone needs to know is that lead poisoning is 100% preventable. And that's what makes lead poisoning cases even that much more of a heartbreak, because all a landlord has to do is inspect and monitor the rental properties.
That's it.
And paint and make repairs and make sure they don't make the problem worse by distributing even more lead dust. But many of them don't. And that's what ends up happening is parents call us, they're in anguish, they don't know what to do because their child has an elevated blood lead level. And the sad thing is there's no medicine and no pill that can fix lead poisoning.
I was going to say at that point it's probably too late.
Once the damage is done,
devastating.
It's done.
And the key is to prevent lead poisoning before it occurs.
Of course.
Parents need to be vocal. If they see a problem, any problem in their rental home, they need to speak up. They need to contact their lawyer, send a letter, and demand that something be done. And if the landlord ignores them, they can call their local health department or the housing department. They can go online and make a complaint. And also, they need to take care of their children. If the floors contain paint chips or paint dust, they need to wash your children's hands, wash the floor, and just take care of the problems in the home. But remember, it's not the tenant's responsibility to take care of the home.
No,
it is 100% the landlord's responsibility.
This is creating awareness. I wasn't even aware of this. Do you think, Grant, the CDC and other health agencies are doing enough to let people know, hey?
We'd always love them to do more in the field of public health, but actually, I think they're doing as well as they can. There's a lot of information available on the web. The CDC and EPA websites are great for information for parents and landlords. But again, if a landlord doesn't want to make repairs, doesn't want to follow the law, the tenant becomes the victim, and an innocent child becomes the victim. And we get calls literally every week from parents who are distraught over their children's health and are worried about their children's future. And so what we do is we work hard to force landlords to make repairs, and then we get these families the compensation they deserve. Compensation that helps these families get educational interventions,
right,
behavioral therapy for their kids.
If anyone out there is facing this or knows of someone, where can they go to learn more about Riley Ersoff and maybe get a consultation?
They go to RileyErsoff.com. We are here to help.
Thank you so much, and I'm really glad we talked about this today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you
for having
and
us.
if you'd like more information, go to our website, thebalancingact.com. We'll be right back.